to note this is not really a great idea to be flying down the end rows when you might hit a pothole. That's okay, I'm a professional. Guys, welcome back to the Big Time Operator series here for American Farming on Squad Farms. I'm just checking on Kevin over in the old axial flow. We got beans and corn going at the exact same time. It is harvest season, and I'm way behind schedule because we got corn for Christmas. If I'd known he'd just been on this side of the headland, I would have just stayed over here, but little drive never hurts. So you doing all right? I'll follow you, bud. Oh, he's not even close. He's fine. On to our next adventure. As we weave our way through the farm, I'll kind of elaborate on what the plan is. We just got to get crop out of the ground before it gets too brittle and that we aren't going to be able to retain the best yield possible because I planted so late in the season. The hogs are most certainly going to need fed, but we're just going to take corn directly from the fields and knock that out over to the hog barns. I might hook up the gravity wagon to one of my pickups, but I think the majority of them right now are parked down at Thomas's since he is helping us out with the corn harvest crew, and it looks to be they are going. If you guys remember from our last episode, this field was partially chopped by Thomas's New Holland forage harvester, but he has us custom harvesting the rest of this ground, and I think they're just getting ready to start the main headlands, if I'm correct. Maybe? I don't know. All I know is we got the 1100 bushel Brent out, and that is going to be my occupation for the next 45 minutes. Get out of the way of the trucks, and it is on to the tractor. Feels good to finally be back on schedule to at least a point. Life's been a little all over the place, but I can't keep making excuses. You guys want content, and I got to make sure you get that. I will not be traveling probably till sometime around the Farm Progress Show, which is at the end of August over in Decatur, Illinois. So let's see if we can make this farm a lot more money, and more importantly, our first gen farm. I want to see if I can actually start making some really big headway on that. There wasn't a lot of corn in the hopper. I just wanted to make sure that he was empty before he started going onto his east-west runs. The corn is what's going to be the money maker this season because we got quite a bit of ground. Heading up to our PDA, taking a look at our crop type. As you guys can see, I still screwed up on the soybean planting, and there was an entire chunk that did not get sowed, and I can't even remember why it didn't get planted. But it is corn and beans plethora. Kevin is working up on the north side of the map, and we'll probably have him shimmy over to this monster next because beans just, you only really need one truck. You can keep up with those pretty easy. Corn, I want to work on this triangular sector, to which then our dumping process is going to be loading straight to the hogs and then to the dryer. If getting analytical with numbers interests you guys and you want to make sure you help Squad Farms keep on rolling, then you got to let me know down below by hitting that like button and consider subscribing. I say, guys, let me know in the comment section that the H&S trailer that, you know, you pull behind the forage harvester, I was pulling it behind the Steiger, and that was technically incorrect. Well, to each their own. I just had never played with any of that stuff yet, so I didn't know what I was doing. But all I say from that is thank you guys for letting me know. But that issue that I was having, it was patched like not even 2 hours after I made that video. I think that's probably good enough to let Daryl roll on his own. Let's check in on Thomas to see what all he has to do with his land. With a quick hop and a skip down the road, the field just across the intersection is the one that we also chopped last episode. Thomas should be heading out with the vertical tiller here within the next couple days to start knocking stalks. But since we were able to help him with the chopper, he said he was going to come out and help us get harvesting. I wish we could use his combine, but it's currently at the dealer right now getting serviced for the end of the year. We did all of the stuff that we needed to in order to make sure this crop turned the best possible yield, but I won't know what we're looking at until Daryl either sends me an update from the monitor on the combine or I myself start looking at the big portions of these fields, whether it's dry, it's down, it's big ears, or I'm just going to drive right into a creek bed because I obviously don't know where I'm going. Yep, just as I thought. Why is Kevin and Corey's trucks parked down here? That makes 0 sense. I don't think Tom's got another... No, he does not have another grain truck, at least in that shed. Tom's got a really big row crop operation that he hosts out in this area, but his brother is the one that does a lot with the beef cattle on the north side, and that's why they have the big New Holland forage harvesters. They just happen to store them down in this sector because most of their land that they separate off to chop is done down here, and when they go to store it, it's at the starting farm, the red one with the harvester bin. Whatever they can't fit in that, then they truck up north. let's pop our way into the combine. I'm a little curious to know what the monitor's saying because Daryl has not sent me an update yet. Don't get hit by that stuff. Looks to be we have about a little over 3/4 of a tank, and it's about 250 average. This is a little bit of a dry spot, but 250 to 260 average to the acre. It's not really that bad. This is non-irrigated ground, but the soil that we're on is more of a sandy-based, sandy loam. By that, I mean the soil itself, when you were like, if you were to like dig a hole and then stand right next to it, the soil would just collapse almost like a sand texture. We probably better get the wagon before he fills up. That's it. I gotta fire myself. Daryl, wait! Crisis averted. I think we got enough out of him now he can at least turn around. If I can knock out at least 3 fields today, I will be pretty dang happy. I think one more down and back should top off the cart, and then we can start moving the operation to the next field just across the bridge. I'd probably better check on the bean operation just to see where Kevin's at. I don't think he's having any troubles, but I could always be wrong. Oh, well, that'd have been nice to know. How full is he? Half full? And we can address that. Just get the semi out of the way. Preferably without ripping off the bean header. I don't really want to buy a new one of those. While we're at it, let's just dump them on the go so we can be sure that we can just leave them here for a little while. Beans might be more expensive when it comes to selling, but they do not yield worth an absolute donkey dunk. I know this is a very generic grain trailer, but I want you guys to head down below and let me know in the comment section, what is your preferred brand of grain trailer? I was born and raised around Wilson pace setters, but I am also from an area where they actually make the Timpty super hoppers. Those are made out of David City, Nebraska. Just a fun fact for those who did not know. And I really do like the look of those Timpties. I'm not gonna lie. If I had to pick between a farm trailer, I'd pick either a Timpty or a Wilson. That takes care of Kevin. Let's pop back down to the corn and make sure that Daryl's not doing anything stupid. Can we get truck number 1? I think we will. Come on. Come on. What? I wonder, did I not fill the cart? What? That's a load of BS. Maybe one more down and back. Daryl, you sure you're not dropping a bunch of corn kernels out the back of that thing? Thought cases were supposed to be known to be good combines. You know, on second thought, I actually never checked how the combine was set. Any corn kernels down here? Nope. Maybe 1 or 2, but that's about it. It's about as good as you're going to be able to set it. Maybe this is just some really dry stuff. Well, that sucks. Anyways, let's go top off one of our trailers and take it to the hogs. Now, if I had an auger set up back at the house, I could just dump it straight into my gravity wagon. That would be fantastic, but I do not have that. So we're going to dump it into my bin silo, not dry it, but then load it straight with the Puma and then hightail over to the hog barns to get them fed. I did not check, but I think my hogs, well, their feed's not terrible, but according to my data, we got a good chunk of hogs ready to go to the market. 325, 325, 325. Is that the whole barn? There's no way it's the whole barn. Holy cow, we can take a whole hog barn in. Heck yeah. What about the main farm? We got a huge load of cattle going to market. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I like to see. Let me get Kevin on speed dial and see if he wants us to pick up another load of hogs when we take those into market. Because our farrowing pen should have a couple of piglets or weaners that are ready to go to the hog barn. That way it saves us a little bit of money. But that's going to be a big heyday unless the prices for animals are horrible. I did not check that. Ay, Gapalupa. If I can wait, that might be a better idea. Because I can get another $20 a pop. I'm glad I checked that, but I don't think I want to wait all the way till May. But if I sell them now and then feed the next round, they might be ready to go by May, because that's 5 months. I say we take the risk. Let's just see what Kevin has to say. Hey, Kevin, I got a question for you, bud. First of all, how are the beans doing? They're doing good? That's great. Now, I just looked at the data for the hog barns. All of the hog barns are completely full. The market does not have them very high, but if we were to sell all of the hogs right now at market, because they are all at max weight, we could hypothetically get the next round in, and then they will be ready to sell at max price in May as long as we keep the feed up. What do you want to do about that? Sell at least half? I mean, you could, but you're working with old swine at that point. If you dump them all now, you can take the loss here and then get a bigger profit later. A fair argument. We'd have more in the... How about this? Let's do 3/4 and then we'll stockpile back up. So we'll sell 3/4 of both of the hog barns. That work? All right. Thanks, Kevin. We're just going to dump it in bin 6 just because of the fun of it. I probably could take this right over to the hog barn and just dump it in directly from the truck, but it's not really realistic unless you had an auger. So we're going to do it this way so it looks logical. But you guys heard Kevin and me discussing. We're going to sell 3/4 of each of the barns and then restock so we can be ready to go for a big turnout profit in May and sell our other hogs alongside them so we're not losing as much when we go to buy them. But I told him we're not gaining as much either because we'll have however many extra swine just sitting there. We're going to be setting up at this ground next to me anyway. We'll just grab the 4-wheeler once we get everyone started and we'll come back to do the Puma work. I'm going to take a little bit of a gamble. I've never seen a map with so many bridge crossings in my life, but I think I can make this header squeeze between the guardrails. If not, then I got to take it off the combine just to get it. And that is probably, that's telling me no. Dang it! I got to take the header off this. Come on, man. It's not that narrow. Okay, let's try that again. Thomas is going to cover for us in the wagon while we go tend to the hogs. Let's get in that Puma. Start heading, what would it be, west? Yeah, west. Say what, that little ATV, that thing's been pretty dang handy. We need to load, and we are taking that. On the road again. I just can't wait to get on the road again. Don't let DOT see us going down the road. We might get called in for overweight. Which, now that I think of it, we might shuffle over the older axial flow to this ground and wait to do the other beans with the bigger axial flow. That big field is going to take forever with that little axial flow. I'd be biting a little bit too big of a bone for that one. To my knowledge, Kevin's livestock trailer should still be down at the south hog barn. If not, it's tucked away somewhere over at this farm. Regardless, let's get the barn fed. Will it take a full wagon? I don't think it should. It might. No. How much does the fair? Oh, that pin's gonna need some food. But that one is full. Beautiful. Yeah, all these little guys, we can transfer all of them over to the main hog barn. And we should probably sell these sows and get a new batch. That way we can ensure that we are going to get quality hog reproduction. I would say production, but that's when we eat them as bacon. Some say I would like to live dangerously. I just threw a couple 100 pounds in the back of the truck. We're just gonna haul it with this. I don't really want to drive 26 miles an hour every single time I gotta go take a truckload in. So brakes, do not fail me now. Let's actually do a brake test. Can I get it to stop? Wow, that's pretty good brakes. Doing some quick math, if we got 59 hogs in just the farrowing pen, let's move those all over to this barn because that puts us almost at the 3/4 mark we need to refill it back up, saving us some time and travel, and we only would have to restock the south barn. There ain't no way they're already full. Oh, they really must not take that much food in that thing. Don't bother me. The boys still got the operation running smoothly, so let's just go and take care of the livestock situation. It's been a hot second since you started. Are you gonna be nice? Oh, like a top. Why are there still animals in this thing? That's not a good thing. Why are there still animals in the trailer? What the heck? I got a whole bunch of them that are ready to go to the hog barn in the trailer. I mean, I guess just load the trailer. 43 of them in there. I guess we'll just unload these guys. Wonderful. And we'll just continue to load these guys and take them all to market. I guess that is slightly a trade-off. Not exactly what I envisioned, but it is what it is. Show me the money. What do we got? 9,600. I can live with that. So grab the rest of them up north. And if the situation plays out like I think it is, I might as well just grab all of them or close to all of them from the top side and just move them over from the farrowing pen. Then I'm not spending any money at all. Except we would still need to stockpile the south shed, which I could have grabbed a load while I was at the dealer. Dang it! Well, we live and we learn. We might be here for a little while. Beautiful. Well, to be honest, let's just load the whole trailer, or that many, and we'll resupply as many as we need in both barns to fill these suckers up. Because if we have almost 60 of them just in that particular barn itself, we'll only have maybe, what, 15 that we'll need to bring over, and then the rest are all towards the south? I don't think it's gonna cost us an arm and a leg, but it'll at least be a decent chunk of money. Sell you. Almost 15 grand for that load, and only $784 for the little guys. It'll cost a lot more in food to help offset that cost, but I don't think it's gonna be $15,000 worth. That's some good money. I need to get me some bacon. I did call Kevin to confirm what we are doing, and he said that is completely fine. He said he also is finishing up that bean field on the top side, so if we want to have him shift over, he is more than welcome to. We might just finish out the whole hog situation here and then almost call it a day. Might not seem like we did a lot today, but we definitely went through quite a bit of money, but we gained quite a bit as well. Technically, as stated in the beginning of the video, I'm working on trying to get back on schedule. The traveling just kind of got the best of me, so that is my humblest apologies to you guys. But let me know down below, out of the 2 series that are currently up and running between the Big Time Operator and the First Gen Farm, which one of those 2 is your favorite? I personally like my First Gen Farm one better just because I've really grinded it out on that save. I know I'm limited to what I can do compared to, say, Farm Sim, but for what we've been working with, I think we've made that series be pretty dang awesome. Let's grab ourselves another round of the little guys. If we can fit 50 of them in that barn and the rest in the top side, I think that'll probably be good enough. I just do not recall if I already swapped them. Did I already switch them? No, I did not. Okay, but I did take almost all of the pigs from the 1 pin. So let's get 65, and I think that'll top off both barns. Because if we already have 17 in one building and 59 in the other, that puts us at 76. So we need 64. That was 1 off. Wonderful. South barn is full. Onto the home front. Sometimes I don't know how Kevin actually fits this truck in there. I just took out his mailbox for the 14th time this week. See what I mean? Stop by the farrowing pen first. We want all of you. Get all of them unloaded. And I miscalculated. What? Well, that don't make no sense. That's all right. I think that's good enough. Let's check on the bean harvest as well as the corn harvest, and that should wrap us up. Checking in on Kevin first. It looks like he's done. Pretty sure of it. Just need to empty him out and shuffle him over, and then it is off to Daryl and Thomas down on the south side. Pretty sure Corey is also down with them running one of the trucks. Thattery's back at the farm running the bin silo, checking the moisture on the crop. I think by looking at that trailer, I only got 3/4 of a tank out of it. That is sad. Man, I wish beans actually perform better. But hey, that's what you get. A bean pod is not nearly as big as a corn kernel. What'd you expect? Yeah, the trailer wasn't even 3/4 of the way full. It was probably about 2/3. I'm sure, though, we'll get at least 1 truck out of that field. And if not, I might have to cry a little. Hey, that's all right, because we'll just jump the field openings. That was about as pathetic as the bean crop yieldage. There we go! And I think I just snapped my tie rods. Oh, these guys are moving right along. I think they stopped for lunch a little earlier, but oh, actually, I think Daryl's on his last pass. Or at least, maybe, close to. Is he? No, there's no way he is. He's dumping on to Thomas. I got 1 line of shame. That's all right. I think that's going to be all the time we have for you guys today on Squad Farms with the Big Time Operator. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm going to keep this circus flowing and going and hopefully growing. But we shall see you guys all in the next one. This is Squad Farms out. Peace.